January 28th, 1986, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Millions of school kids across America are watching as the Space Shuttle Challenger sits on Launch Pad 39B. But 73 seconds after liftoff, the sky turns into a graveyard of white smoke and orange fire. This was a disaster that started on the ground. These 7 heroes were sent into a trap they could never escape, even though the people in charge knew something was wrong. The night before the launch, Florida was hit by a record cold snap. Temperatures dropped to 22 degrees. Icicles over a foot long hung from the launch tower. In Utah, engineers at Morton Thiokol were terrified. They knew the rubber O-rings sealing the rocket boosters were never tested for this kind of cold. Roger Boisjoly warned that the rubber would get hard like a frozen garden hose. He told NASA the launch must be stopped, but NASA was behind schedule. Managers pressured the engineers to change their minds. One boss famously told his lead engineer to take off his engineering hat and put on his management hat. They ignored the data and cleared the flight. But how did a tiny rubber ring bring down the most advanced ship in the world? At 11:38 a.m., Challenger's engines roared. As the shuttle cleared the tower, a camera caught something chilling. At just 0.6 seconds after ignition, puffs of dark gray smoke shot out from a joint on the right booster. The frozen seals had failed instantly. Superheated gas hotter than 5,000 degrees was already burning through the rocket's skin. But the shuttle kept climbing. A strange thing happened that almost saved them. Burning aluminum from the fuel created a thick ash that plugged the leak. For nearly a minute, it looked like they might make it. The crew was smiling, unaware of the fire waiting to break free. At 37 seconds, the shuttle hit the strongest wind shear ever recorded in the program. The ship began to shake violently. The computer system fought to stay on track, but the vibrations were too much. That tiny plug of ash was knocked loose. At 58 seconds, a plume of fire erupted from the side of the booster. It acted like a blowtorch aiming directly at the massive external fuel tank. The tank began to leak liquid hydrogen. Inside the cockpit, pilot Michael Smith saw the pressure dropping on his panels. He whispered a final 2-word realization. Uh-oh. At 73 seconds, the bottom cert holding the right rocket snapped. The booster pivoted and ignited in a massive fireball. The shuttle was moving twice the speed of sound when it was thrown sideways into the air. The wind was 20 times the force of gravity, shredding the metal wings and the body of the ship. But amidst the chaos, the crew cabin remained in one piece. It was severed from the ship and began a long, terrifying journey to the top of the sky. If the crew cabin was still intact, what was happening inside during those final minutes? The cabin reached an altitude of 65,000 feet before gravity took over. For the next 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the 7 astronauts were in freefall. Evidence shows at least some of them were conscious. 3 emergency air packs were activated manually. 1 belonged to Michael Smith, but he could not reach his own pack. Someone sitting beside him must have reached forward to turn it on for him. Investigators found several electrical switches on the control panel had been moved. These were protected switches that required a manual pull. The crew was fighting to save the ship all the way to the water. The cabin fell at 200 miles per hour. The impact with the Atlantic Ocean was instant and final. The force was 200 times the force of gravity, far beyond what any human could survive. This tragedy was not caused by a lack of technology. It was caused by a dangerous habit of ignoring small problems. NASA got used to things going wrong and thought it was okay. They put the launch schedule before human life. The loss of the Challenger changed space travel forever. It proved that nature cannot be fooled by schedules or pressure. Today, those 73 seconds remain a somber reminder to always put safety first.